Hi, welcome, and I'm excited to have Kat on today, and she's going to talk about fear of getting it wrong. As a business owner, we have so many things to do, and really fear can get in the way. So it's going to be an amazing topic. Let's get straight to it. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Mahnaz, and this channel is all about productivity and allowing you to take steps forward in your productivity journey so that you're growing your business with ease and it becomes easier to do all the things that you want to because they are much more in an aligned manner, and saving time while you're at this because we just simply do not have all the hours in the day to spend on our business. If you want to create more impact with working less, then you're in the right place. Do hit subscribe and let's get straight to today's video. So let me introduce my special guest, Kat, today. Kat helps heart-led coaches, creatives and healers release the fear of getting it wrong so they can show up in their business with confidence, joy and ease. She supports them with mindset, energy and momentum to lead their business and themselves with unshakable self-belief. I'm so excited to have Kat on talking about fear of getting it wrong, because I think the fear is something that can really show up in lots of different ways in our business and in ourselves, and it can lead on to so many different things. So it's really worthwhile to tap into this. You know, it might be something that you are really aware of or not so. So let's get straight to it and welcome Kat. And please do tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me, why are we talking about this subject today?
Right. Well, thank you so much for having me on here, my lovely. It's a pleasure. I think that the reason why I have really kind of pinpointed this is because I think it's quite subtle and I think it's quite sneaky because, like, we all know fear, don't we? Yeah,
Yep.
we feel it in our bodies. We might hear it in our heads, the good old
Yes.
like mind going, ah. So like we know fear, but like fear is like it can then be put into other different little compartments. And I think as business owners, it's really it's so important for us to realize where things might be blocking, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, when we're looking at the fear of getting it wrong, we don't always recognize it, and the reason why I've kind of gone deeper into this is because I have seen it myself in my journey in different elements where I've thought, oh, it's this thing, but actually, like when you get underneath, maybe there's this behavior, maybe there's this repeated pattern saying, but actually if you go under and look at what's driving it, actually there's a fear. And actually, if you look deeper, it's that fear of getting it wrong. And, here's the thing in our businesses, it's if we want to get our voices out into the world, and like, we've talked about before, like we help really similar people. And
Yeah.
it's really important that we are able to access these people, right? So, like, seeing where there are barriers for ourselves or in clients that we serve is really powerful because then that's your starting point.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good I think that fear can be really obvious or it can be hidden. And I think they're equally as important to work on, but sometimes you might not realize. So I think hopefully this video is going to help people to see we all have some form of fear anyway. And I guess it's just managing it and keeping it at a level where it's not affecting and blocking and stopping us from doing things. So this is really interesting. So tell me how your business came about. I know you've
Wow.
got a different background, so please do share with us how it's all happened.
Yeah, in my previous life, I went into education as a primary teacher at about probably about 28, I think I was. So, for 20 years, I was a primary school teacher, and You know, that served me well. It worked really well around my family, and you know, it was like a huge passion of mine. And interestingly, in the second decade of doing it, and that makes me feel really old, because in my head I'm still 30. I can't possibly be 50, you know.
Oh
But
my.
yeah, in that second decade, like just little things started to like appear as thoughts, like, okay, like wellness, well-being really presented itself in my, like the people I worked with. So my colleagues, and you know, as many people know in education, you know, your well-being, your mental health, like it's so important because you are looking after many communities every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a twofold thing. I started to think about, well, I hit 40 and thought about my own wellness and well-being. I thought about it in terms of the people I work with as adults, and also in the little people I was looking after, because I was
Yeah.
a primary school teacher, and you could see like mental health and well-being were really important. So like in that decade, my wellness journey really began. And the other factor was my youngest, who is now my oldest at 17. She was like finding aspects of life like really challenging, you know? So I trained in various different things. And so I started this kind of
Mm.
entrepreneurial thing, but not really, you know, because I
Yeah.
remained in teaching. I trained as a relaxed kids coach, a story massage instructor, baby mindful coach, happiness facilitator, like all these different
Mm.
things, because I just became really lit up by wellness.
Mhm.
And I could see like how crucial it was for us not just existing and surviving at life, actually really thriving, loving, and like doing amazing things with our life, you
Yeah.
know? So the kind of pivotal moment came when we had a wellness day at the last school I worked at. And we were invited to sign up to these different things. You know, it could have been like drumming, singing, and one of them said laughter yoga. And I was like, oh, this sounds like this felt like me. And that was kind of the catalyst really for me, like going, okay, you're playing at trying to do businesses whilst you're teaching. Took me a little while longer to still leave teaching, but I just felt in me that that was where I needed to go, and this was going to be the driver towards, you know. So that sent me on my training of my other
Mm.
modalities, and made me realize that actually my time in teaching was done. I'd served
Yeah.
that area for 20 years, and you know, been part of that journey for many people. And now like I just I wanted to support women who had, you know, been maybe doing like mumming things and or mum and part-time work, which was what I was doing in teaching, and go, it's never too late. It's
Yeah.
never too late to put yourself forward and follow that, because this literally grabbed my heart and I was like, I'm going to do it, you
Yeah.
know. So it was a like a long journey, if you like, really, you know.
Mhm.
And that is that thing, isn't it? And I think this is really why I'm really called to support entrepreneurs, because I think there's so many people that could not do it. And I don't know if
Yeah.
you see that in
Yeah.
your work.
Mm.
It's like it can feel scary, right?
Yeah. Of
But you know,
course.
so can not doing that thing,
Yeah.
you
It's
know.
like fear of the unknown, isn't it? But
Mm.
almost regret is worse, isn't it? Where, you haven't done it, so, you have no way of knowing how it could have been, and you don't want to hear that voice, especially down the line where, you've not really fulfilled what you were here to do. And
Yeah, totally. It's like that 90-year-old self thing, you know.
mm,
So my vision is she's smiling, you know, and that
yeah,
she's going, yes, you know, in whatever iteration. And I think,
yeah,
you know, I've learned you have to kind of release your attachment to what you think the outcome might be when in
yeah,
business.
yeah,
But like in whatever iteration it became, like
yeah,
you did it, you stepped
yeah,
forward, you shared your voice, you know. So my 90-year-old self is like, she's grinning, and I was like, I keep on remembering her.
Yeah.
That's what we're, you know,
That's so
that's the big
powerful.
reason, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
lovely. Oh, that's great. Love to hear all of that. Well, tell me then, Kat, when you've been working with people, and your clients, what's maybe the biggest transformation that you've seen? Maybe somebody pops to your head.
I suppose, right. So the first person that springs to mind is someone I worked with a couple of months ago, and she's not an entrepreneur. She's someone who is, you know, in a what's it called? In a an employee.
An employee.
What is that thing that, you know, the life I used to lead? Because I predominantly work with entrepreneurs, but obviously, you
Yeah.
know, and I imagine, you know, the same for you, isn't it? It's like other people may come into your arena, and and I bought, so people that come and work one-to-one with me, I buy them a beautiful print by someone called Veen Ema, and I can't remember the actual name, but it's just so beautiful. And I remember I sent it to her, and at the very end, towards the end, we worked together only for literally a 6 week, which I don't normally do, but it was just something I just went, right, let's go for 6 weeks, and
Yeah.
she was like, yeah, I'm in. And she said to me, I think a few days before we were wrapping up, I said, look at your print again, because she loved the print, was really grateful.
Hmm.
And she was such a visual person, this woman. She was amazing, like literally a dream client to work with. And she said, when you sent that to me, I was out, it was like I was outside of the house looking at it, you know, like
Yeah.
she just couldn't, it was just never going to be her. And she said,
Okay.
like now I'm right next to it, you know.
Oh,
And I'm really paraphrasing, like she explained it beautifully, and I literally, my eyes welled up. She sent me
oh
a voice
wow.
note, and I just went, so basically she saw herself,
Yeah.
you know. And before that, she just couldn't see herself. And
Yeah.
when she came to me to she basically said she just felt completely rubbish, completely lost, like self-worth like on the floor, self-belief gone.
Mm.
And then what kept on coming up was work. Well, you know, literally, I think this is a couple of months ago, so maybe it was June, July. By October, she was in a brand new role, and is loving it. And she didn't come to me about the work wasn't right, but it was so interesting because once you unpick and unravel, like
Yeah.
you see so many different things. So, and she was saying to me, I thought maybe I might do this in a year or two. But why? You know, and this is the thing,
Yeah.
we can put these we almost like block ourselves, don't
Yeah.
we?
I
Yeah, put our
see.
own
Yeah.
barriers up. And I was like, why not now? Why not you? You know, and if this, whatever you go for, isn't for you, it just isn't for you. It doesn't mean anything
Yeah.
about your worth.
Hmm.
And she, honestly, she was just, it was so wonderful because she was like, you know, that beautiful kind of like little budding flower at the end. She was literally
Oh
like, you
wow.
know, like the whole, I was gonna say orchard, but do you know what I mean? Like literally the whole
Yeah.
bouquet, you know, whereas
Yeah.
before it might have been the seedling.
Well,
And
that's amazing. And she'd never thought about it like that.
no, you know, and she couldn't, and like one of the phrases that comes up to me when I was like, 'cause, you know, checking in on the journey through in between our calls on WhatsApp, and I said, what's different? What do you notice? And she went, I look up more than I look down.
Oh.
And that just gives me a little, I can
Oh,
feel it in
that's
my
so
arm,
nice. Yeah.
because, you know, when you think about people, like when they're in sadness, which is really where she was, you know,
Mhm.
like everything felt empty. They're not engaging, are
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
You know, and she said, people smile at me. And I was like, you have a beautiful energy.
Oh,
And now your energy is coming out and
yeah.
people can feel it. Whereas before we just
Yeah.
close off, don't we?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
wow. That's lovely. What a great story. So tell me, what mistakes did you make when you were starting out? Can you think of something in terms of your fear, I guess? Let's be specific. What Is there anything that you can think of now? I know you said that you'd done lots of different things, and it sounds like they were all very much stepping stones to get you to where you've ended up now. But do you consider anything to be a mistake?
Well, that's so funny because my instant reaction was like, well, how long have you got, Mahnaz? And then actually I was just doing a live about it this morning in my Facebook group, talking about our energy and like what we make things mean and all this kind of thing. And actually, really, like there's just been a whole load of learnings, is how I would
Yes,
reflect it
yes.
back to you. You
Hmm.
know, I've had launches where I'm like, yes, this is going to be my best launch, and
Yeah,
like tumbleweed. You
yeah,
know, people going, thank you so much. It's been amazing. You're amazing. I've done all these things. See ya. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and I've taken the zero sales
yeah,
as a potential failure, you
yeah.
know, but then you reframe and you look at it and you're like, you know,
It's not a
like
failure, is it?
it's
Yeah.
it is a real, and I also kind of think, because like, you know, business is new to me. Like I said, I've worked in public sector, you know,
Hmm.
as a teacher, where like it couldn't be more different, you know, to being an entrepreneur. And I just think, actually, you learn as you go. So what I was
Yes.
doing, you know, well, even 6 months, I was going to say a year ago, certainly what I was doing a year ago, like
Hmm.
is different now. And even a few months ago, actually. So I just think these mistakes, they like we can choose to respond to them how we respond, right? So we could look at a masterclass we do that we're going to then, you know, sell a product, whatever, and go, oh, my desire is however many people and all the things, yeah,
Yeah.
which we, you know, which is a very typical entrepreneurial like format, isn't it? And how we then receive the outcome is down to us, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, actually, what have I learned from that? You know, I've got stronger in my visibility. I've got more established in like how I hold a space and how I hold a
Yeah.
group, and you know, so
All experience, isn't it? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So I just think I have learned an awful lot. You know,
I
I'm
love
not a
that
business
answer.
mentor, but I think I could probably mentor people
Oh,
on things to do with
that's a
business, you
great
know.
answer though, Kat. Honestly, it really is, because it is about reframing. And if we want to be positive, we can choose to be positive in everything that we're doing. So this channel is all about productivity, and I'd love to know from you, what sort of 3 tips that can you give, or strategies? Um, Sorry, not 3 strategies. What's your favorite productivity hack or tip? Something that you either do like once or twice or occasionally, or something that you've built into your routine, because I want to make it really helpful, that productivity is for everybody and everybody can have their own way of making that better.
Absolutely. Oh gosh, I'm like, where do I draw the line of what to advise? But I'll keep really focused. So I think the biggest thing, and I'll answer it more clearly in a moment, but I think the biggest thing to really recognize in terms of productivity is energy. Yeah. And really knowing that we are absolutely in charge of our own energy. And I think sometimes we might feel that that's not true
Hmm.
because of external things going on for us. Yeah, because life
Yeah.
is like this for sure.
Yeah.
And we will always have sometimes huge things that we have to hold
Hmm.
and support, and sometimes smaller, and sometimes nothing. But essentially, our energy is our own. And it's kind of like I was saying in the previous thing, how we respond sometimes will feel less than easy. So I'm not underplaying that. But in terms of our productivity, energy check-in is so important. So in terms of the best thing, like you were saying, the best hack tip, however we want to phrase it, is we have to have tools and resources to work on our own energy.
Yeah.
And there is no set, you got to do this, because we're
Yes.
all different. you know. And I know people that cannot stand journaling. I know people that for them meditation is like, you know, and all these things for sure we can learn. But I think what we don't want to do is force something that feels like a job, and then it's not good for our energy.
Yeah.
So it could be, I mean, there's for sure, I've listened to a few podcasts recently about that whole thing of like, and this is really pertinent to this time of year of recording because we're in December now, is, you know, the light factor. So when you get up, getting out in the light, and it doesn't have to be sunlight, it's just daylight, makes a difference in your energy. And that I think is a really super important thing to remember as an entrepreneur, where maybe you're not leaving your house. Yeah. So you need to get out with intention. So there are so many things I could suggest to people to do. The best thing to do is know yourself and know what it is, like what puts a smile on your face. So for me, I love getting out in nature. So I was down at 8 o'clock at the beach this morning because it's a rest day for me running. I'm training for the marathon. So, but I walked down for the beach, because it was sunny and beautiful and amazing. So nature is always great for me. I cold sea swim and sea swim, obviously, when it's warm too. So that is very, because it makes me present. And when I'm present, I'm then really productive. I love to meditate. So I do that as part, I get up at 6 and that's the first thing I do. You know, I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I self Reiki. Again, it gets me present, it shifts blocks, and then I'm much more useful to myself. You know, I practice laughter yoga. I'm a laughter yoga practitioner. So that is a great energy shifter, really quick and powerful, makes you feel alive within like literally minutes. So they are things that I go back to and back to and back to. But it's that thing, you know, when people say like, you do you, like for productivity and energy, it's like choose the energy things that are great for you. And you will feel productive. It might be just sitting down with a hot cup of tea, no other noise.
Absolutely. You can make it into anything. I love those tips. And thank you so much for sharing, especially what you're doing, because that's it. It doesn't have to. I think the best thing I love there that you said is that we have to figure out and get to knowing ourselves better. And that's, you know, absolutely true in every single aspect of our life, including business. But even our business is that we are our business. So we have to start with us, and we have to have the energy in order to sustain ourselves and look into that in so many different ways.
And I think the thing is, if we do the things we think we should, you know, then we don't do them. And then our energy isn't right. And then we're really not productive.
Absolutely.
So people that go, oh, I should run, but I hate it. That, like, so then they're not going to feel productive. They will shame themselves for not liking running. They will shame themselves for not being good enough at running. You know, and so then we go from here and all, like, you know, people that love it, productivity here. People that don't love it, they'll start to feel rubbish from something which is supposed to be good for your physical and mental health.
Oh my goodness, it's better to actually not do it at all than do it and give yourself that false, you know, expectation and negativity. Fantastic. This has been such a great chat. I'd love for you to share 3 tips or strategies around sort of fear that might be holding us back and all these things. What can you share with listeners who could use that to really sort of do something with it today?
Right. So what comes up is for sure the energy work, but I'll come back to that. But like questions. And because I think actually it's quite easy to remember a question, because when we're feeling in this, we're not productive, we're not doing what we're doing, we can feel guilty, we can feel all these things, we overthink, we get overwhelmed, we procrastinate, you know, like, and I laugh because I've been there, you know, because I'm a human. We all go there, you know. So a simple question really helps me. So first, like when you're really in that, the self-doubt, the overthinking, the inner critic's really strong. asking yourself, what do I need right now?
Mm.
And just listen to that answer. And the big trick with this is get your head not involved. Yeah, because your head
Yes.
would go, well. So as much as possible, and it is a practice, all
Yeah.
things that support us are practices. But the great
Yes.
thing about practices is the more we do them, the more it becomes a healthy
Yeah.
habit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So dropping into the body, what do I need right now? And just listening, and your body's like it's your best guide,
Yes.
actually.
Of course.
And actually, I wasn't going to share that, but actually, that would probably be my biggest tip:
Mm.
is listen to your body,
Yeah.
because your body knows, and your body is so powerful. And I think so often we listen to this,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's very busy and it has a lot to say, and sometimes it says stuff to keep us safe, but it's less than helpful,
Yeah.
But listening to your body, asking yourself, and so those would be the three things: listen to your body,
Yeah.
ask yourself, what do I need right now?
Mm-hmm.
And the really powerful thing for when the old mind monkey is like in overdrive, ask yourself, is this true?
Yeah.
So when, the critic, the doubt, all that overthinking, all the worry that, like, shall I post this? Is this content good enough?
Yeah.
Is my newsletter heading the right heading? But
Yeah.
like, this is like, as entrepreneurs, but like heart-led entrepreneurs, they care, right? Don't
Yeah.
they? They care.
Yeah.
So it's not just bashed out, and not like, it
Yeah.
comes from here,
Yeah.
and like you're sharing your heart.
Yeah.
So like your mind can get a bit judgy, and we're our own biggest critics. Yeah. So asking yourself, is this true?
Mm-hmm.
Is, for me, super helpful, because most oftentimes it'd be like, well, no,
Yeah.
I don't know what other people are going to think of my newsletter before I've
Yeah.
sent it out. And I
Yeah.
don't know how many people are going to like or comment on
Yeah.
this live that I've sent out. Or,
Yeah.
it's like release with love, and meet yourself with love,
Yeah.
because what you're providing, your service you're providing, is from your heart.
Mm.
So trust it,
Oh,
trust yourself.
fantastic. I love that. So listen and let it go.
Yeah.
No, it's almost like acknowledging that these things are there. Don't bottle it up, but really allow them to pass, because it is. We have so many thoughts. I don't even know how many they are, but the majority of our thoughts we don't have time for to really pay that much attention to. But why we're choosing to pay attention to these particular thoughts that were going to hold us back, then that's where it becomes really tricky. So that's amazing advice.
I
Thank you
think
so
we have
much.
60,000 a day. Pretty sure
60,000.
that's the most,
Yeah.
because I was listening to something recently and they talked about it, and I
Mm,
was like, so that's a
yeah.
busy brain, isn't it?
Yeah.
So learning
But
how to
we're not
tune
aware
into.
of 90% of those.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
is, this is the other thing, that when we're not connected to ourselves, then we don't actually know what's going to help us. Asking ourselves the right questions is so important. Right. So my last question
yeah.
for you, Kat, what advice would you give to yourself going back when you were sort of starting out your business? What's that one thing that you would love to tell yourself?
Oh, just one. What advice? Do you know what? I have always been very strong on the self-belief in my business. I just, it came very easily to me, and I know that doesn't come easily to
Yeah.
everyone. And I
Mhm.
really recognize that as a bit of a superpower. So I would just say, like, you're doing fine, gorgeous. Like, all is great. So
Yeah.
just keep trusting, keep believing. But like I say, my self-belief felt very strong. So I think for other people at the start of this journey, they may not find that so easy to fall into.
Mm.
So my big advice to others, and I would still go back to myself and still say the same thing, is like when you believe it, people
Yeah.
feel it. Yeah. And when you
Oh,
don't believe it,
yeah.
people feel that too. So
Yeah.
like really, as much as possible, dialing up that self-belief, and really believing in who you are and what you have to bring to the world, like, is such a, it just keeps you going, you know. And instead of that, like, why me, it's like, well, why not me? Why not me? You know, like, why can't I bring this to the world? So the self-belief piece is such a, like, if we look at foundational blocks, it's such a key one.
Yeah, I love that. So that's it. It's imprinted in my brain now. When you
Yay!
believe it, then others will feel it. That's if there's one takeaway from here, I think that's just amazing. So do tell everybody, Kat, what you have on offer, what kind of services you provide, and where people can find out more about you.
Right, my lovely. Thank you so much. So I'm mostly active on Insta. So you can find me there at Cat Googe Official. So that's probably my main channel. And in terms of what I offer, I kind of offer like 3 different tiers, because I know people have different needs at different times. So you can do like a one-off session with me, which is an activation session. Or you can do a 4-week one-to-one, which is release and reset, where you get to really focus on something you want to let go of and put yourself into the energy of momentum. Or there's a deeper package, which is Elevate, which we do over 3 months, which again is one-to-one. All of these different things, they have a combination of what I offer, which is coaching, NLP techniques for like really kind of shifting old patterns and limiting beliefs, laughter yoga for really quick energy shift and release, and Reiki for integrating whatever it is you're working on, and again, like, just moving blocks through your body so you get to step into a higher vibration. So yeah, those are 3 different ways. But I produce a lot of free content, so you know, people can come onto Insta and get a feel, you know. And there's always an opportunity to sign up to my mailing list, because I have lots of different freebie offers, and people can get a feel for, you know, my energy and what it is like to be like, to have a slice of working with me, if you like.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, I love that whole mixture of the toolkit that you have ready for anybody who this resonates with. Do check out Kat's resources. I will pop the links all in the description below, so pop onto her Instagram or her website and find out more about her. So thank you so much, Kat, for being here. It's been a great session.
You are so welcome, darling, and thank you so much for having me. It's been delightful.
Oh, you're so welcome.